Good morning. Our quest to see all the cool things in the Upper Peninsula continues.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen our previous two videos, we are in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we have moved on to the area, a little town called Manistique. So we are actually on the Lake Michigan area now. So we were mostly on Lake Superior, so we moved on to the Lake Michigan area, and we have some pretty cool things to see in this area, I think. Our very first stop of the day is something that I have been looking forward to since we started talking about doing this trip up here.
Yeah, so we are at, you're going to have to say it because...
Kitch-iti-kipi.
Kitch-iti-kipi.
So I can't remember the name of the tribe that named it, but Kitch-iti-kipi basically means big cold spring or big spring, and this is an amazing cold water spring that's absolutely beautiful.
It's actually located in what? Palm Store?
We're so bad.
Cue sign of the park here. Located in Palms Book State Park. See, that was easy.
Yeah, so easy.
So it actually does have an interesting story behind it, because this was actually owned by a land company, and a guy by the name of John Belair convinced them to sell it to the state for
$10.
$10.
I can't remember, but a while back. And it was quite a steal, I think.
Yeah, it was. But there was a stipulation that they keep the name.
Palms Book. So that was the name of the land company. So that was the deal. You have to name this state park after us.
Kitch-iti-kipi is Michigan's largest natural freshwater spring.
So this pool of water has an amazing emerald green bottom. The size of it is 300 by 175 feet, and it's 40 feet deep in its deepest spot.
Fissures in the bottom pump out over 10,000 gallons per minute of fresh spring water.
The water stays a cool 45 degrees Fahrenheit all year round, but these fish don't mind.
Now, you do have to pay a fee to get in, but if you're a duck, you can swim and visit the lake for free.
And perhaps the best thing of all is the self-operated observation raft that allows you to go out over the water and see the beautiful depths of this emerald green pool.
Sandy, you know what I always say?
What?
Why live? Sandy, do you know what I always say?
No, what?
Why just learn about history when you can live it? I always say.
You always. He does.
We are currently in the Fayette Historic Park. This place actually used to be a company town.
It was an iron company.
Yeah, an iron company. So they, it's situated on this beautiful little bay, and they operated. It was around what, the late 1800s?
Like the 1860s to the 1890s-ish. That's when it operated.
So they have all these cool buildings that are preserved, and some of them not so well. But let's go check it out. So behind me is the machine shop where the blacksmiths used to work. It said the smithies made about $2.42 a day, which I guess given the prices during that time was a fairly decent wage.
So we're standing inside of one of the cabins. These cabins were for a lot of immigrant, unskilled workers that lived in the town. And back in the day, there used to be about 30 of these cabins kind of lined up in this area. This is the only one that's still here existing and preserved. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see where these rather large families would have lived.
So behind me is the residence and office of one of the physicians that used to live here. Now, of course, medicine was really different back in the day, like when you'd go to the doctor and they'd diagnose you with, I don't know, ghosts in your blood and said that you should do cocaine about it. So back in the day, it was really common that they did not pay their workers actual money, but they would give them these bank notes or company notes that they could spend in the company store. So these weren't worth anything except for at the company store, and of course the company controlled the prices of all the goods and materials that people would buy with their fake money. And this beautiful massive building was the town's hotel. Man, it's a really big room, really big echo. But just like any other town, they needed a hotel, and this was it. One of the interesting things about this hotel is that they didn't have bathrooms inside of the rooms. There was actually a 2-story outhouse outside that you'd have to go down, get a key, and go use it. Fun. Of course, the harbor behind me bears mentioning. Look at these beautiful limestone cliffs. Now, it looks like in the construction of the building, they used a lot of this limestone. I didn't see anywhere where it said that they actually mined the limestone or where it came from, but it looks like they have a huge supply over here. And the view of the harbor and the cliffs are just absolutely incredible. This massive limestone structure behind me was actually the company store where everyone would come and they could actually buy things with their company money, or they could actually buy it on credit. Now, according to the sign, people could also do mail order, which they said was cheaper. So I guess this is where Amazon got its start. Now we're headed to where the magic used to happen. This big building behind me is where all the iron ore was smelted. And this building is really, really pretty. I mean, it's made of this beautiful limestone and brick. Once again, I think they probably got it from the area, but hard to tell. But this building is super well preserved and super awesome. And in here we have the old furnaces where they used to stoke the fires, and I cannot even begin to imagine how hot it must be in and around this furnace when it was going full blast. So I wasn't sure exactly what this place was kind of going to be like when we got here, and I am absolutely impressed by it, actually.
Yeah, so I don't know if it really comes across on video very well, but it's an absolutely beautiful park, and you get to really learn so much history and of how people kind of lived in the late 1800s. And if that's not good enough for you, at the end,
We've got ice cream. Okay, we're going to enjoy our ice cream, and we're going to move on from there.
Up next for you guys is another lighthouse. We are in the little town of Manistique, and there is the Manistique Light. And so what's cool about this lighthouse is it doesn't sit on the shoreline or on a cliff or anything like that. It actually sits out in the middle of the water here. So I know you probably can't see it. It's all the way out there. But the cool thing is that there are 2 boardwalks, one on each side, that you can kind of walk out to get better views of it.
So as Sandy was saying, there was 2 boardwalks, but there's the other side of this one that I'm standing on. So it looks like the cable broke loose. So I don't think we're going to be walking over there to the other side of the lighthouse.
So really sad and unfortunate that this side is broken, but the good news is, like I said, there are 2 boardwalks that go out. The other one is the one that the lighthouse is actually on. We think we see some people walking out there in the distance, so we are going to drive to the other side of the water, and hopefully we can actually get down on that one. Fingers crossed.
Okay, so parking lot number 2 is looking a lot more promising. So we're actually on the side of the little harbor here that has the breakwater with the lighthouse on it. So it looks like we can actually walk out there. I've seen people out there, but we're not going to know until we get out there. So let's get out there. So we just found a sign about the Manistique Lighthouse. It says it's 35 feet tall, but I think that's just the light itself, because that lighthouse is larger than 35 feet. Well, look at that. We made it. 1 lighthouse.
You're 6 foot tall. It might only be 35 feet tall.
It might be. I don't know. It seems much bigger.
It seems bigger.
It seems smaller from over there, way over there.
But you said it looked bigger.
Well, it did look bigger from over there too, but I mean, it also looks smaller from...
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
They probably measured it. They're probably right. It's probably only 35 feet.
Now, unfortunately, this one is locked and you cannot go in it, so you can't play Lightkeeper.
But it's a really cool little walk out here along the breakwater, and it's beautiful. You think so?
I think it's really beautiful. Welcome back to the van. We both took a nice little shower in our recirculating shower.
Not together.
Not together. It's too small. But I shaved. I look a little better. a little bit.
Making some dinner.
Making some dinner, so yeah. We've really enjoyed our time up here in the UP so far.
This area of Manistique has been really, really nice. I mean, there's not like a ton of things to do, but the things that there are to do were really fun. So
the spring was really awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful.
The Fayette State Park with the historical buildings is really cool.
And then the lighthouse, that's probably my favorite lighthouse we've gone to. Really liked being able to walk out there and everything. So
that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely if you're up here in the UP, it's definitely worth you to come here and spend a day. I mean, we did all that in one day, so you can totally see it all pretty simply. And
yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. And I guess it's time for us to go eat some dinner. But until next time, stay wonderful.
Call it a day.